I'm now joined by Professor Joseph Ushie, a lecturer at the University of Uyo, Akhigbe State. Thank you very much for giving us your time. I mean, even the ASUU President was skeptical, while he was very optimistic and, happy with this historic agreement. His pessimistic side was worried about fulfillment. Do you share that concern, even in the midst of this celebration?
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for having me on the program. I joined colleagues in and other Nigerians in showing some happiness over the development. However, ASUU members remain somewhat skeptical and pessimistic, not really pessimistic, because from experience, we have had situations where it takes a very long while to get agreements negotiated and then signed, and then another strike probably for implementation to take place. We are happy that this time, at least the agreement has been formally endorsed by both parties, but our fear remains, will the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu carry on what it has, the jinx it has broken to the point of implementation? That is our fear. If that is done, then we will know that, yes, this is a departure, especially if it's done without a strike to trigger them to do the needful. The implementation is the last thing, and that is what matters the most to us.
What more can you tell us about the agreement? Are you satisfied that all areas of concern between ASUU and the government and the university welfare was adequately covered?
Yeah, well, it's difficult to answer yes or no, because if I say we are not satisfied, then we might be showing inadequate appreciation to a government that has at least done better than others. But if I say that we are satisfied, and then you look at the package and you look at the where we should have been if this agreement had been reviewed when it was due 2012, and then we wouldn't have been where we are. So yes, we are happy that at least this government has taken the agreement to this point, and we'll be quite happy if it's implemented, but we will be happier if he keeps to the terms of the agreement with regard to review 3 years later, which would enable us to still advance the welfare package from where it is at the moment. The only thing is we have, as someone who teaches English, we have adjectives, good, better, best. So this is not yet best, but it is better than where we were.
Okay, let's talk about university autonomy, because that was a sticking point for the ASUU president. He said, in principle, it is acknowledged that the universities should have autonomy, but that is not the case in Nigeria. Is there any information on that agreement that uplifts the spirit that there will be some autonomy for universities in decision-making to drive education forward?
Yeah, well, university autonomy is a global best practice. Anywhere in the world, the university system ensures freedom. All manner of ideas are accommodated. But in Nigeria, it hasn't really been the case. We have had overarching influences in terms of employment, sometimes even in terms of admission. Let me give you an example. When I was an undergraduate, in those days, in the 70s up to the early 80s, my vice chancellor then had a request for admission from someone high in government, and he told the person, I'm sorry, your candidate is not qualified. let the candidates try again next year. And it ended. But these days, sometimes you have the situation in which we talk of admission, you have Senate, National Assembly list, ministers list, even in recruitment. That does not augur well for any Nigerian, any university system. We want a situation where if we have our first class, second class, upper graduates, we should be able to say this one should remain. But sometimes you have a situation in which people stay in Abuja or anywhere else and they decide for you who to recruit, whom to admit. Those are not, they don't fall within the best practices, global best practices of university education. Then, of course, when you talk of autonomy, it comes down to the vice chancellors, and sometimes some of them do not even uphold the very principles of autonomy. So that is something that we have accepted in principle, government has kindly accepted, but then we must fight to ensure that it is practicalized, that it is actually made functional. Not because others want anything, but just in the interest of the university system, in the interest of the nation, so that we align with what goes on anywhere else in the world. That is what we are talking about.
All right, quickly, I want you to, in 40 seconds, if you can, research funding got some good mention, and there seemed to be some, positive feedback, especially with the bill that's to be forwarded to the National Assembly or National Research Council to ensure that is done. I mean, research funding is key to further development of our education system. So what are your thoughts about the, what would be the appropriate word now, this coming to fruition in real term, that this funding will get to the universities and the work will be done to further education?
That is a very right step in the right direction, provided that the process of releasing of the funds and the management is okay. I can tell you, well, I've had the opportunity of doing academic work in so many parts of the world elsewhere, and nothing supports a nation, not just the university system, better than the outcomes of researches. And I can tell you that Nigerian scholars are among the best in the world. And you see this when they leave here to anywhere else in the world where research facilities are available. We keep getting reports of their bringing out groundbreaking research outcomes. If this goes through and federal government is truly committed and makes money available, I can assure you that this is going to be a revolutionary step in the promotion of the progress of this country, because
Indeed.
Research basis of development anywhere else in the world.
This was really hard fought by ASUU. We do hope that this time the government will pull through. Prof, thank you for your time.